New Orleans Saints at the Houston Texans. Texans win 20-13, moving to 3-3. Saints fall to 3-3. Another hard-fought battle. I don't know if I could quote our friend Bobby, but maybe it was an ugly win for Houston.
I think we can.
Is that okay?
I think we can
If he
put
said-
him on the record without it being on the record. That's, I think,
we were congratulating him
fairly
on the
benign
win.
thing to put out there.
He just said, ugly win, boys, ugly win. But it was a win nonetheless. It counts in the win-loss column. There was a Saints stat in here from Jeff Duncan. I mean, it's just reciting what happened, but it kind of sums things up, if I could find it. Can I find it? The Saints' last 4 drives of the game ended at the Texans' 27, 11, 15, and 24-yard lines, and they only got 3 points out of it. Between fourth down failures, missed field goal. So there was the Saints in the red zone, from their perspective in this game. The Saints in the red zone continue to have massive, massive issues. Derek Carr, 3rd worst passing grade in the red zone this year, and he's got a ton of attempts.
Yeah,
Just another red zone failure.
Multiple missed field goals is not going to help you when you're trying to peg back a relatively low-scoring game, and you're trying to get within a score, et cetera. So that was definitely hurting. Now, that being said, they also, Derek Carr got bailed out by throwing an absolute mile underthrown to Rashid Shaheed, who then turned into Randy Moss and, plucked it out over the top of a defender's head and made the play. It's not like everything was going well until they hit the red zone and then missed field goals, but that's always going to make it difficult. First interception of C.J. Stroud's career, bad turnover-worthy play. One of those maybe had been coming somewhere down the line, he'd had some mistakes before that hadn't been punished. I was pretty impressed though that didn't shake his confidence at all. He just went right back to work, kept on trucking, looked good again. Even with the first interception of his career, I think that was an impressive performance from Stroud. And I think they have this weird dynamic where he's still not great under pressure, but they're doing a good enough job of keeping him on within the structure of the offense, and he's doing that at an incredibly high level.
I was mixed on it. I was impressed how he bounced back, absolutely. And I think the adversity thing is really important. Right? I mean, the best quarterbacks of all time, the greatest quarterbacks, all have failures. They all have bad plays, and they bounce back from them, right? They don't let them snowball. That's a very good sign by Stroud. The interception was horrendous, right? Yeah. And he bounced back great. He also had some other misses too, right? I mean, he had some other just clean, straight-up misses, uncharacteristic of what we had seen from Stroud in previous times. I thought they got it back a little bit by working the play-action game, couple big plays to Nico Collins. They did a nice job of, hey, some of the simple reads and basic stuff he's missing this today. They got some play-action chunk plays in there, some nice red zone plays. A really nice read, I thought, by Stroud on the Robert Woods touchdown in the red zone. So yeah, I'm kind of with you, grade-wise, because the picks in there and there's some other misses. Grade-wise, it's not going to be his bad game or his best game, but seeing him bounce back from adversity was good, and winning ugly, right? That's huge for the Texans. Their defense was rallying and just they made those plays for everything. I'm saying blaming the Saints in their red zone and relying on field goals or whatever it might be that they end up missing. The Texans did a really nice job cracking down on the Saints. The Saints are becoming one of the more difficult teams, I think, to figure out here across the NFL week to week.
Linebacker Blake Cashman was
everywhere. Dude's everywhere.
It was insane. What is he going to end up with for on our numbers for tackle count? Because it was something absurd for the official number or the unofficial number. The NFL's number it was 15.
If you go to his player page, we do have the defensive player. No, we don't. Do we not have the player stats report? I have failed.
You have failed.
In Ultimate. We have 5 run defense tackles. And this is good stuff here. 7 in coverage.
Okay.
So that's 12 solos by our numbers, at least.
Which is a pretty crazy number. He was.
What did the NFL have?
I think he was at I don't know what the solo number was, but he was 15.
No, Cashman felt like he was everywhere. I mean, the other Jalen Petry's playing pretty good football now this year too. making a lot of plays for Houston on the back end after he missed a million tackles last year. You've been very kind lately. Like, here's this number or this stat that's bad, but I'm actually encouraged by it. Jalen Petrie last year, he had so many missed tackles, but you'd actually say, if you take out the missed tackles,
look, you got to be in a position.
There's a promising future for Petrie. So he's cut down on the missed tackles this year, and he's grading well. Jimmy Ward's been a nice addition in the slot for Houston. So they're getting a lot of, another good game by Steven Nelson. They're getting a lot of good contributions by players.
Really good game by Will Anderson as well. Like, he looked fantastic as a pass rusher for them. So, there was a lot to like about this Texans team in this game.
Yeah, for sure. D'Amico Ryan's got them playing hard there. The Saints, I'm trying to figure out Carr in the Saints offense here, because I went through all Carr's throws specifically, and there's a lot of times he just doesn't look like he's throwing on time. I mean, there's certainly some rhythm throws in there, and he gets it. There's just a bunch where he doesn't. There's a lot of double pumps. There's a lot of just a little extra tap of the ball, and there's something missing. I can't put my finger on it, but there's something missing with the Saints offense, because for the 6th straight week, the 9th straight week even maybe, because of the preseason, the Saints have these playmakers, right? Rashid Shaheed should not be mossing people at the catch point, but he is. Like, we should be talking more about Rashid Shaheed being the incredible breakout player that he's been over the last couple of years. Maybe we talk about him. You have a Chris Olave. You still have Michael Thomas. You have all these guys. There's something missing from the offense. And that includes, I think there was a play late where, the Texans are being aggressive. They're coming all out on Carr. He's got to throw it up to a spot. He throws more of a corner route. Shaheed runs a slot fade. Like, I think Carr was trying to get him to run a corner. There's too many miscommunications. Carr feeling like he's a step off, he's a tick late. There's something off with this offense. And then it just looks way worse in the red zone. Carr finishes 1 for 3 with 2 yards and a sack in the red zone in this one. As I said, I think that it's just a massive issue for the Saints.
Yeah. I mean, the other thing is that offensive line is going back to when it was sort of problematic levels. They seem to be
Cesar Ruiz got whooped, man.
They seem to be an institutionally very strange team when it comes to the offensive line. They'll spend a high pick on somebody who doesn't work out and then reward him with a giant contract and be saddled with him for years later. Like, they've only just got out from the Andres Pete contract that they gave him, which at the time made no sense. Like, this guy has not played well. Why are we giving him a giant contract extension just because we drafted him in the first round? You know the way Dallas get lambasted a lot for wanting to sort of validate their own draft decisions by giving them the next contract. So you give him the next contract, you're like, see, he worked out. It's a good pick. But he isn't. Like, he's not good, so you're just compounding a bad choice with another bad choice. So the Saints just get out from the Andres Pete thing and then seem to repeat the mistake with Cesar Ruiz, who for most of his career has played badly. It's like, well, now you're stuck with this guy. Like, what?
I think we're just in this world where, look, PFF grades aren't gospel, Sam. It's not the only thing.
No, but you didn't need PFF grades to know
joking.
that Andres Pete wasn't good.
I think PFF grades are pretty good, obviously. And I would say Andres Pete in particular is a guy that will say people around the league maybe a little bit higher on him than we were. Apparently, I think people around the league, a.k.a. the Saints, a little higher on a Cesar Ruiz who gave up 9 pressures yesterday. Mm-hmm. We're just kind of seeing things differently. But, yeah, the Saints, they got whooped up front, man.
But the problem is eventually you sort of see the light. Like, if you realize that earlier, you might have saved yourself a lot of money and a lot of pain.
I'm encouraging more and more teams to rely on the proper PFF grades to help evaluate players. And some teams do.
It just feels a lot of teams seem to, and this is an offensive line thing and has been for a long time, like teams seem to very stubbornly hold on to this idea of, no, this guy's good. We like something in him. Usually, athleticism, measurables, strength, whatever it is. We're going to start him endlessly. And then eventually they give up on it and they're done. Like that guy, the reason you can see that it's a bad sort of process is as soon as you eventually realize and cut bait, nobody else goes running after him. Like, remember when Davin Joseph was a thing? People were like, Davin Joseph's a great guard. You know,
Can't go back.
First
Nobody
round
remembers Davin Joseph. Nobody remembers
round pick.
the PFF battles the battle between PFF and Bucks media and Bucks fans.
First round
Davin
pick.
Joseph.
Davin Joseph started forever. And there was a collection of people, mainly the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, that were like, this guy's good. See, he's a starting guard. He's got power. He's got whatever. And then as soon as Tampa Bay eventually decided, you know what, it's done. He actually isn't that great. I don't think he got a job anywhere else. He was just out of the league immediately. And it's like he'd been that guy for like a decade, and you just clung on to it. The Saints are doing that with a succession of offensive linemen, and it's hurting them. Like, they used to have one of the best offensive lines in the league, and slowly, bit by bit, with each subsequent mistake on a personnel level, it's gotten worse.
On the other hand, I just want to give a shout out again to the Houston offensive line. You know, there'll be a couple below average grades in there, but George Fant, Laremy Tunsil, Shaq Mason, all grading well in pass protection. It does feel like when I'm watching Stroud, the times that he can get to his second read, it's because the offensive line overall has been holding up. So credit Stroud for being able to get to second reads and the footwork and the accuracy and the mechanics we've been talking about, but Houston giving him that little extra tick in the pocket, I think, has helped a ton in the early going.
Yeah, I think one of the other elements of that Shanahan scheme, coaching tree, et cetera, it's succeeding in helping every offensive line that's running it right now. I mean, the one of the stories of the season that nobody is mentioning is Miami's offensive line looks fine despite having some pretty terrible personnel on it right now. Like, they're putting up record-setting points, and the offensive line is not undermining that despite starting some players that you would be like, this guy is a liability. San Francisco, before the season, it's like that offensive line on paper is not very good. Nobody notices, doesn't matter. Houston's offensive line looks really good. Like, every single offense that's taken this Shanahan tree, the line looks fine.
Yeah, it's absolutely true. It is a huge factor that they can improve personnel, absolutely.
Like Jared Patterson, 6th round rookie, looks fine in center.
Yeah.
It's not a problem.